My stepmother swapped my kids' cruise for her grandkids. My response? Priceless. Planned a dream cruise for my kids, a single dad trying to make up for lost time. Stepmom decided her grandkids deserved it more, and oh boy, did things escalate. You won't believe what happened next. Okay, so backstory time. I'm a single dad to two awesome kids, Liam, 10, and Daisy, 8. Been raising them on my own since their mom and I split about 5 years ago. It's been tough, juggling work and school runs and all the dad stuff, But those kids, they're my world. And I always try to make sure they know it. Lately, I'd been feeling like I hadn't been giving them enough quality time. Work's been crazy demanding, and honestly, I've been kind of stressed and just present in body, maybe, but not really there for them. Like we do dinner together, sure, and I help with homework, but the fun, spontaneous stuff? Yeah, that's been lacking, and I could see it in them. Liam was getting a bit withdrawn, and even my usually bubbly Daisy seemed a little quieter. Dad guilt? Oh, it was hitting hard. So I decided to do something big, something really special to reconnect and make some amazing memories. I started saving up, cutting back on my own expenses, and secretly planning a surprise. And after months of research and budgeting, I finally booked it. A luxurious Caribbean cruise. Think pristine beaches, endless buffets, water slides, and all that cheesy cruise ship entertainment that kids, and let's be honest, dads who are secretly big kids, absolutely love. I even splurged on a balcony cabin so we could watch the sunsets together. I was so hyped. This was going to be epic. I wrapped up the cruise documents, printed out some fun Bon Voyage decorations, and waited for the perfect moment. Last Friday, after school, I had it all set up. Pizza for dinner, their favorite, balloons everywhere, and the big reveal. They were ecstatic, screaming, jumping, hugging me tight. It was everything I'd hoped for and more. Liam, who's usually Mr. Cool and collected, actually had tears in his eyes. Daisy just kept saying, "Daddy, Daddy, are we really going on a cruise?" My heart was full. Mission accomplished. Dad of the Year award, here I come. Kidding, mostly. We spent the next few days in a frenzy of planning and excitement. Shopping for swimsuits, picking out books and games for the plane and the ship, making lists of all the activities we wanted to do. Daisy even started drawing pictures of herself swimming with dolphins. It was pure, unadulterated joy. Exactly what we all needed. Then came the family dinner. Ugh, these things are always a minefield. See, my dad remarried about 10 years ago to Carol, my stepmother. She's a piece of work. Let's just say bless her heart is the kindest way to put it. She's always been a bit competitive, especially when it comes to her own family versus mine. She has a daughter, Sarah, who's a couple of years older than me, and Sarah has 2 kids of her own, twins, about the same age as Liam and Daisy. And Carol is obsessed with those grandkids. Like grandkid of the century levels of obsessed. Everything Sarah's kids do is brilliant, amazing, and worthy of a gold medal. My kids? Well, they're just there. Politely tolerated at family gatherings. Anyway, every couple of months we have this mandatory family dinner at my dad and Carol's place. It's usually a strained affair with forced small talk and Carol subtly and not so subtly one-upping everyone. But we go to keep the peace, mostly for my dad's sake. This particular Sunday dinner started out normal enough. The usual awkward pleasantries, Carol bragging about her grandkids' latest achievements. Apparently, little Timmy can now spell his name backwards. Groundbreaking stuff. Dad trying to steer the conversation to less volatile topics, and me just trying to survive until dessert. Then, Carol dropped the bomb. Right after Dad finished carving the roast chicken, she cleared her throat, loudly of course, so everyone would stop talking and pay attention to her, and said, "Oh, speaking of trips, my name, that cruise you booked for the kids. About that." My blood ran cold. How did she even know? I hadn't told anyone in the family about the cruise, wanting to keep it a surprise just for Liam and Daisy. Had my dad told her? Impossible, he's usually pretty good at keeping secrets. Unless, oh God, had Daisy blabbed to Carol's grandkids? Kids are kids, after all. Yes, I said slowly, a knot forming in my stomach. I tried to keep my voice neutral, but inside I was panicking. Please, please, please don't let her ruin this. Carol smiled, a wide, saccharine smile that never reached her eyes. Well, dear, we've had a little family discussion, and we've decided that it would be much more appropriate for Sarah's children to go on that cruise instead. I stared at her, completely dumbfounded. Did I hear her right? Had she actually just said that out loud? In front of everyone? Excuse me? I managed to croak out. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Carol waved her hand dismissively, like she was explaining something incredibly obvious to a slow-witted child. Well, darling, think about it. Sarah's been having such a tough time lately. You know, with the twins starting school and all the expenses, and those poor children, they've just been so deserving of a break. Your kids, well, they have you, don't they? They get plenty of treats. Sarah's kids, they really need this more. I just blinked at her. I honestly couldn't process what she was saying. It was so audacious, so unbelievably entitled. She was actually trying to steal a vacation I had planned and paid for my kids and give it to her grandkids because she thought they deserved it more. Based on what criteria exactly? The fact that their mom was having a tough time with school expenses? Welcome to the club, lady. It's called parenthood. My dad, bless his slightly bewildered heart, finally spoke up. Now, Carol, honey, I don't think that's quite fair, he started, but Carol cut him off with a sharp glare. Fair? Fair has nothing to do with it, Dad's name. It's about what's right. Those children have been working so hard in preschool. Finger painting is very demanding, you know, and they deserve a reward. My name's kids can go on a cruise another time. They won't even miss it, will you, dear? She turned her fake plastic smile on me again. I felt my ears burning, my hands clenching into fists under the table. I could feel everyone at the table staring at me, waiting for my reaction. My dad with a worried frown, Sarah looking smugly down at her plate. Of course she was in on this. And even my usually stoic stepbrother, Mark, looked faintly embarrassed. And then there were my kids. Liam and Daisy, sitting on either side of me, had gone completely silent. I glanced at them and my heart broke. Their faces were pale, their eyes wide and confused. They understood enough to know that something was very, very wrong. Daisy's lower lip was starting to tremble. That did it. Something snapped inside me. All the years of biting my tongue, of trying to keep the peace, of tolerating Carol's constant condescension and favoritism, it all just boiled over. I stood up, pushing my chair back with a loud scrape that echoed in the sudden silence. Everyone jumped. Carol actually flinched. Good? I looked directly at Carol, my voice low and steady, but with an edge that I don't think anyone had ever heard from me before. Carol, I said, you are unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I took a deep breath, trying to control the volcano of rage bubbling inside me. This cruise, I continued, my voice getting louder, is for my children. It's my money, my planning, my surprise for them. They've been looking forward to it for days. Daisy has been drawing pictures of dolphins, for God's sake. I gestured to Liam and Daisy, who were still frozen, staring at me. Look at them, Carol. Look at their faces. You think they won't even miss it? You think it's appropriate to just steal this from them and give it to your precious grandkids because you decided they deserve it more? I shook my head, disgust and anger churning inside me. You know what's really unbelievable, Carol? It's not just the entitlement, it's the sheer cruelty of it. To do this in front of them, to dismiss their feelings like they don't even matter? You are just, wow. I actually ran out of words to describe how awful she was being. Then I turned to my dad, who was looking increasingly uncomfortable and was now trying to discreetly signal for Carol to shut up. Too late, Dad. Way too late. And Dad, I said, keeping my voice level, but my disappointment was clear. I can't believe you're just sitting here letting her say this, letting her treat my kids like this. I really thought you'd have my back. He opened his mouth to say something, but I cut him off. No, Dad, it's okay. I get it. Family dinner's over. I turned back to Carol, fixing her with a cold stare. As for you, Carol, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm, congratulations. You've just won. You've successfully ruined what was supposed to be a special moment for my kids. You've shown them exactly where they stand in this family. And you know what? You've shown me something too. I paused, letting my words sink in. Then I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that says, you messed with the wrong person. You think Sarah's kids deserve a cruise more than mine? Fine, I said, my voice dangerously soft now. They can have it. Carol's eyes lit up. Victory, she actually beamed. Oh, my name, that's so generous of you. I knew you'd see reason. Sarah even dared to crack a smile. Unbelievable. But I wasn't finished, not by a long shot. But, I continued, raising my voice again, there seems to be a slight misunderstanding, Carol. When I said they can have it, I didn't mean your grandkids, Carol. I meant these kids. I put my hands on Liam and Daisy's shoulders. They looked up at me, their eyes still wide, but now with a flicker of hope. Liam, Daisy, I said, addressing my kids directly, loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. Pack your bags. We're going on a cruise right now. The silence in the room was deafening. Carol's smile vanished. Sarah's smug look evaporated. My dad just stared at me, mouth agape. Even Mark looked shocked. Right now? Carol stammered, her voice losing its usual confident edge. But dinner. Dinner can wait, Carol, I said, cutting her off again. We have a cruise to catch. I pulled out my phone, quickly checked the cruise itinerary. Okay, we can still make it to the port if we leave within the hour. Plane tickets, hotel? Nope, scratch that. Road trip, even better. Kids, go upstairs, pack a bag for a week. Swimsuits, sunscreen, pajamas, favorite toys. Go, go, go. Liam and Daisy, finally understanding what was happening, jumped up from their chairs and dashed out of the room, whooping with excitement. For the first time all evening, genuine smiles lit up their faces, and that was all that mattered. I turned back to Carol, who was now sputtering with indignation. You can't be serious? Just leave? In the middle of dinner? Carol, I said, my voice calm and firm, consider this us leaving the middle of a whole lot more than just dinner. Consider this us leaving the middle of your drama, your favoritism, your everything. We're done. I looked around the table, making eye contact with everyone except Carol. Dad, Mark, Sarah, it's been something. But Liam, Daisy, and we're gonna go make some real memories now. Memories that don't involve passive-aggressive comments and stolen vacations. And then I did something completely impulsive, something that I'm still kind of proud of. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my car keys, tossed them onto the table in front of my dad. Dad, you can have the rest of the chicken, I said. And then, without another word, I turned and walked out of the dining room, heading upstairs to help my kids pack. The next hour was a whirlwind. We threw clothes into suitcases, grabbed snacks and drinks, loaded everything into the car. Liam and Daisy were buzzing with excitement, chattering nonstop about the cruise. I called the cruise line, explained the situation, and miraculously, they were able to adjust our embarkation time and give us directions to the nearest port we could drive to. Thank God for flexible travel agents. As we pulled out of the driveway, I glanced back at the house. The lights were still on in the dining room. I could almost picture Carol, Sarah, and even my dad sitting there in stunned silence, picking at the cold roast chicken. Honestly, I didn't care. We drove through the night, fueled by coffee, snacks, and the sheer thrill of rebellion. We made it to the port just in time, checked in, and boarded the ship as the sun was rising over the ocean. Liam and Daisy were practically vibrating with excitement as we walked onto the deck, the vast blue expanse of the Caribbean stretching out before us. The cruise was everything I dreamed of and more. We swam, we ate, we explored, we laughed, we watched sunsets from our balcony. Just the three of us. No Carol, no drama, no competition, just pure, unadulterated family time. Liam and Daisy blossomed. They were relaxed, happy, and completely themselves. And honestly, so was I. It was like a weight had been lifted. When we got back, a week later, I braced myself for the fallout. I expected angry calls from Carol, maybe even a guilt trip from my dad. But nothing. Silence. Complete and utter silence. A few days later, Mark actually called, not to yell or guilt trip, but to apologize. He said he was embarrassed by Carol's behavior, that my dad was furious with her, and that even Sarah was secretly a little mortified by her mom's antics. Apparently, Carol had tried to spin the story to make herself the victim, but no one was buying it. Even my dad, who usually avoids confrontation like the plague, had finally put his foot down. Mark said things were tense, to say the least, at their house. He also said, tentatively, "So, about that cruise. Did you guys actually?" I laughed. "Oh yeah, we went. Best week of our lives." There was a pause. Then Mark said, "Good for you, my name. Seriously, good for you." And you know what? It was good for me. It was good for Liam and Daisy. It was good for all of us to finally, unequivocally choose ourselves, to choose joy over obligation, peace over drama, and family, real family, the one you create with love and intention over whatever that dinner table was supposed to be. We still haven't spoken to Carol, and honestly, I don't miss her one bit. My dad and I are slowly rebuilding our relationship, but it's going to take time. And that's okay, because I learned something incredibly important on that cruise. I learned that my kids and I are enough. We don't need anyone else's approval, validation, or permission to be happy. We just need each other. And maybe, just maybe, a really amazing cruise ship with water slides and endless buffets. But mostly just each other. And that's priceless.